Flyover state of film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
What is up, party people? Welcome back to the Flyover State of Film. It feels weird, even though it's been 3 weeks since I had the warm embrace of Brian in my bed. Now we're just, again, sharing a screen together, and that's as good as it's going to get. Today I'm your host, Why I Love Movies. As always, Brian, Joe, and TJ. How's it going, guys? How about we crack some beers and reminisce?
Guys, I'm actually drinking water. No alcohol for me tonight.
You're still feeling the rum?
Keep his wits about him.
You know, last time we all were together and we filmed something, things got a little out of hand.
I mean, but technically that episode was an hour and 40 minutes. You lasted an hour, so if it would have been a regular-ish episode, you would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been good.
And to be fairness, we also filmed that righteous intro that everybody who's watching this, or probably just saw. So, in fairness, he'd been working hard all day. Yeah. We just caught him on the tail end.
But it was
that
fake.
Half. Just to get that half shirt on, he had to drink like 6 beers. Like, that's part of it.
It shows. It really shows.
A shirt like that won't even go on you unless you have a couple beers in you. It rejects your body.
I thought TJ was just method acting.
I was going for the Jared Leto. That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah. Well, talking about method acting, did you guys hear about Hollywood casting Mel Gibson to play Rothschild? One of the most prolific Jewish families ever, and they're subject of the most conspiracies against the Jewish nation, or Jewish heritage, or Jewish race, or Jewish religion, whatever you want to go down the rabbit hole.
To me feels more than bad Hollywood casting bullshit. This feels like a deliberate PR move on the part of Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Where he's like, find me a role where I play a prominent Jew, and I will pretend that I haven't spent my whole life hating the Jews.
Give me all the Jew roles. That's what
hook me with them Jew roles, he said. And we're just saying, hey, this is just Mel Gibson talking here, not us.
And you know what? You cast Shia LaBeouf to co-lead with him. And that's what they did.
And it's just going to be, he's a chosen person.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they're going to, surround him with a bunch of apologists. A kind of like, hey, I got my black friend. Look, I'm in my Jewish movie. How could I possibly be a Holocaust denier? Famous Holocaust denier and son of longtime Holocaust denier.
The last movie the Rothschild appeared was in a Hollywood propaganda that was called "Kill the Jews," and they were featured heavily in that film too. So
no, I was gonna say this is a thing. The Rothschild, I'm not super familiar with him. Does anybody?
Neither am I.
Anybody?
It's a huge family. It's a huge family.
It was just, I mean, the name sounds vaguely familiar, but it's not one of those ones where when I heard it, I knew like enough of the backstory to speak intelligently about it. I just think that it feels like a very, a very calculated move on the part of Mel Gibson's comeback. He's been taking it slow. He's doing his, pop up here, family friendly this, directorial that. Now he's gonna play this, and this.
He's gonna play Santa too. So
and he's playing Santa, and it sounds like he's playing like somewhere in between Kurt Russell's Santa and Bad Santa, maybe like. I don't know what he's even gonna do. Like, first of all, trying to be Santa after Kurt Russell like put a pin in it like that is tough. Like, that's gonna be a tough sell.
There's some boots to
imagine trying to fill the shoes of Rick Moranis. And that's what fucking Josh Gad wants to do with the Honey
Disney is putting me to the test here because I'm trying to be the guy who's like, it's cool to just reboot things. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just let it come out. If it's good, we have another one. If it's bad, you just ignore it and go back to the one you love. It doesn't hurt anybody. But then they do some shit like this. And I'm like, God damn it. You can't.
I did no research. You're telling me Josh Gad is supposed to be Wayne Zielinski? No, just stop. I'm gonna go take a bath.
Well, and this isn't even an anti-Josh Gad thing. I don't have a particularly a problem with Josh Gad.
It's fine. He's a nice guy.
You know who I want to see as in that remake? Give me Sam Rockwell.
I want to know how many kids he's gonna have. How old is Josh Gad?
He's probably late 30s.
I just saw Ryan Reynolds play the dad to a 20-year-old in Detective Pikachu. So
and I bought it.
Anything is open for this.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry, guys. I just spoiled Detective Pikachu.
You know what? I predicted that.
Come on, you saw the trailer and you know what was happening.
I predicted it. But either way, I don't understand what the need for it is.
Oh, do you know?
Oh, there's never a need.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a question you can't.
It's
you can't ask.
I don't understand the need because we're gonna have 20 Avatars and 35 Star Wars for the next year. So I don't know why we ever need another movie outside of those two. Did you guys see that schedule?
At least every December we'll have a major Disney release. Oh, wait, that differs from now in what way? Like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be a big Disney movie every Christmas. Yeah, like there has been for the past 20 years.
I'm hoping that schedule reminds me of like a couple years ago when they released that big Marvel timeline and like not that many of those movies actually.
Hey, I would watch a Serpent Society movie still. I'll watch that shit.
I mean, we could all wish for Avatar to go the way of the Dark Universe, but
I just love that they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and eventually nobody's gonna ask again, like, when is Avatar coming out? And
did you guys see? There's been a release date for Avatar 2 every year since 2014.
But
I didn't realize.
And it keeps getting it just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. But that was the first initial release date.
Now he's filmed them, like they're in production or out of production.
Supposedly,
I mean,
wow,
very secretive. Also, I don't think anybody cares.
I think he's doing the Lord of the Ring route, filming a bunch of them at the same time.
But it's going to end up like The Hobbit.
Without knowing they're even going to be successful, it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be successful. It's Avatar, man.
But what happens when that fifth one?
That's not a sure thing.
It's just not making money. That's
the second one's not going to make that much money.
No, the second one they'll have
even if the second one's not good, it'll do okay. It'll do enough to.
The second one will have like a two.
It's not good. The third one's going to die.
The second one will have a $200 million opening weekend.
Yeah, but we're glossing over it. We're glossing over the Star Wars fucking trilogy that we're gonna get.
Okay, now I didn't see the schedule. Now there's only one trilogy on the schedule, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But supposedly, as of a couple weeks ago, Ryan Johnson was still saying he was doing films, and we just got confirmation that the Game of Thrones guys are supposed to be working on a trilogy.
Don't say that word, man. Don't say that.
But the point is, only one trilogy on the schedule, two supposedly active working trilogies in production. Who's getting the axe?
I think someone.
Well, they already announced. They just announced that the Game of Thrones guys is going to be the first Star Wars movie.
Ryan Johnson will get something on the streaming service.
So talking about Game of Thrones, I don't know if you guys fucking heard. Fans are either doing 21 tweet threads against or in favor of the fucking show, either or, sticking a square peg in a circle regarding the fucking finale. So that got us thinking, because we're lazy, How about we just talk about TV finale?
Yes, flyover state of
Ryan.
the small screen films. You know, hey, it
Ryan,
counts. We're in
I'll
the
take it away.
prestige age of television these days, so why not? Why not talk about television finales?
Finales.
Yeah. I guess the first one I wanted to come out was it's kind of in defense of the Seinfeld finale, which I still feel like gets a lot of shit and people consider to be a bad final episode. I think that it's pretty on brand for the show. It's like Endgame in the way that it satisfies your nostalgia. They bring back a lot of characters. They find an interesting way to do that. Yeah, it's weird. They actually throw the soup Nazi off a cliff. It's bananas. But I just think that I think that was one of those situations where nothing was going to satisfy. That's a show that went out at its high. Like every year, the ratings have been going up. They never waited till the show was in decline. They just stopped it. Yeah. So it was one of those things like it was like a fever pitch. No one was ever going to make everybody happy. But I think looking back on it,
I think it's a little outside the box and it's weird, but a show about nothing. How do you end a show about nothing? Like it would have been better if they went the Soprano route, because the Sopranos, and I know that you wanted to touch upon that. That's why I'm kind of
you trying to
segue me, motherfucker? Yeah. Maybe I wasn't done talking about Seinfeld.
No, but I'm saying that they should have
put a button on it in the Curb Your Enthusiasm season when they did the reunion, and that actually tied it up a little bit better. But I still think the finale is pretty good.
Oh, I thought that was funny.
But I'm saying it's a show where they do meaningless or just random stuff every day, just ended like the Sopranos, like it's just another day and it ends.
Well, I was going to ask that. You guys know I haven't watched Seinfeld that much and definitely don't know the finale. I was going to say, does it end because the show about nothing? Is there like a resolution at the end of it? Or is it just a show that is an episode that ends?
TJ, I'll sum it up for you.
Yeah.
They litigate all their popular memes of the day from the 90s with all the characters, and then they end up in jail for doing a meaningless crime in
basically a crime of negligence. They don't stop a crime when they could have. So basically the idea of what they do the whole show is standing around and commenting on the world around them and just kind of being snarky, and that ends up getting them into some trouble, and they actually have to face some consequences for that in the last episode. But the way they treated it, it does kind of feel like just another day. They actually end with dialogue from the first episode and stuff like that.
TV finale.
It's hard to do. Yeah, exactly. And especially for a show that's really popular, that never declined, that.
I got an observation kind of about that, and this will lead into, I think the worst offender of it as a network is Showtime. Mm-hmm. They let their shows stay popular, and which is fine. I should say they let their shows run on for season after season. The biggest one is Dexter. Mm-hmm. But all the other shows, I mean, as a recent,
Talk shit about Dexter, man. Talk shit.
Oh, Dexter! I was Dexter's biggest fan, and then season 4 was peak of some of the best television you ever watched.
Easily.
And all of a sudden, season 5 hits. You're like, okay, this feels off, but sure. And then I think it went to 7 seasons.
Yeah, 7.
You're like, oh my god, this is just terrible. They abandoned it.
Didn't like the sister falling in love with Dexter.
No, it just
lumberjack Dexter.
I will say that's something that they've gotten better with in the last, and it's probably only in the last less than 10 years, is making a complete show. Like it used to be that American television never did that. They always ran it into the ground. They always waited till people hated it to end it, till the ratings were going down. But some shows like the fucking Office, the British Office, is perfect. It's 12 episodes and a 2-hour finale, and it's just this perfect little bubble of comedy. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's got an amazing finale. It doesn't need to over explain what happened. They don't need to tell you the whole rest of these people's lives. It's just a beautiful little singular. And then on the other end, I thought that the American Office did a fairly decent ending as well.
Really nice finale.
For a show that ran on a little longer than it should have. I kind of fell off The Office around season 5, but then once it all came out, somebody was like, you should give it a chance. And it does have some gems in there. And I thought their finale was fairly solid. I like
The Office.
There's some things that don't make sense and some things that feel a little forced, but I still enjoyed it for the most part. And the like emotion of it felt pretty earned. So
Parks in the same side of the coin. Parks had a fine finale. It really stole its formula from 6 Feet Under.
Yeah. That was okay. I thought that whole last season was a little weak.
It wasn't
Parks,
good.
though.
It wasn't good. I think we could be honest about the last season.
Yeah, I think, but I do think their finale is all right.
It's fine. I think I was mentioned earlier the most controversial finale is, to me, will probably always be The Sopranos, because it's a love it or hate it. You have people. Yeah,
well, I think it's much more popular to love it these days. But I remember as a fan watching the show in real time.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, that's
there.
I was like, that's really.
Years old.
That's right. Damn right. I was like, wow, that's really cool. But there were a lot of people hating on it at the time. You know what I mean? It was not. It's definitely grown in people's hearts. But I remember at the time it was a little controversial for sure.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, it's.
What about you, TJ? You've been quiet.
Oh, am I just talking about finale that I liked?
It's because
love them, hate them, whatever you want. Bring it on, baby.
Oh, Full House, man. Full House had one of the best finales ever. Oh yeah.
I don't think I ever saw the Full House finale.
Let me set this up for you. It's a two-parter, and it's the series finale. And Michelle's on the back of a horse, and the horse bucks and knocks her off. She has amnesia. She forgets who she is. The same night, it's DJ's prom. Uncle Jesse's hair is on A+ status that night too. Everyone's crying. They're all trying to get Michelle back. They recap basically from the beginning of Full House to the end with all Michelle's memories. Then at the second part, her memory comes back. Then Steve comes back because DJ didn't have a prom date. Guys, this finale had everything you want. Emotions on high peaks, low peaks, all over.
Does Uncle Becky go to jail?
No, Aunt Becky is still there. She hasn't paid for Nikki or Alex's college tuition yet. They're still running off of Uncle Jesse's band residuals. So, with that being said, no. She's still around. But basically, it's like that first sitcom show you see where when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 when this came on, the end of the show, all of them come back out and they had the flowers and they all like do a bow to the live studio audience.
It's like the Friends one.
It was like something like that. So it's like it just stuck in my head. I know everyone's going for Dexter and the easy ones. So I was like, I'll do Full House.
The easy ones. Listen to these guys. Oh, I really don't like the way that. Well, also, I only talked about good ones. I should mention some big time disappointments. Not just the finale, but the whole last season of Roseanne, where they win the lottery and shit, is just super dumb. That was like an amazing show, and it just went fucking off the rails. And then in the last episode, they basically like tell you that nothing from the show was real. Like it's so terrible.
And I'm pretty sure like
the whole show was a lie.
I think like that same season, every single TGIF show, including Roseanne, all of them went to Disney World, like for the same thing. It's like they all had the
crossover episodes.
Yeah, you're just like, that's great.
Brian said that American televisions don't know when to quit, but a good fucking show that knew when to quit was the Leftovers. They just did 3 fucking seasons.
But that's more recent. I think that falls into the more.
No, I'm saying
I agree. We're definitely doing it a lot better now. But I mean, back in the day, they just drove them right into the ground.
The best.
But that series is just like filled with people coping with the sudden, unexplainable disappearance of 2% of people of the world, and they.
That's why we don't need a movie about anything that happened during the snap. Just go fucking watch The Leftovers.
Yeah, and they cope through cults and through religiousism and through drugs and to madness, but you follow these 2 people, it's Kevin and Nora, and it all boils down to just love and just finding meaning in each other out and ignoring the craziness, because does it even matter why it just happened? Keep moving on and just keep living, and that's like fucking perfect ending.
It's one of those shows where it also with 3 seasons, right? It's clean.
Yep.
Quick. There's no leaving it on too long. The creators are just like, all right, we're good. We'll move on to the next thing.
The acting is fucking phenomenal too.
So good. So good. What's lead's name?
Carrie Coon.
And then the guy too.
Jennifer Aniston's Justin Trudeau.
Yes, stud.
The Canadian Prime Minister.
You know.
And now,
I think the pinnacle series finale of any show, and it sounds like Leftovers in this camp, and you actually make me want to go watch that, is Breaking Bad. It was Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad did it right. I think that's what people were expecting with Thrones too. Regardless of however it ends, I think people were expecting Thrones to have this Breaking Bad type of last season where just every episode has meaning and it's money, and they're telling.
I would have liked Walter's death to be a little less heroic in Breaking Bad. Sorry, spoilers. We're talking about finales. You didn't know there were going to be spoilers. You're a dumbass.
Okay, we're talking finales
though. That's just where it landed, and I personally had no problems with it. That was how they kept building that character too.
Did you buy? I mean, now with Jesse's movie, that kind of goes to shit. But
I'm pissed.
But I kind of like the theory of Walter going into cancer coma in the car, and after that, everything you see, it's his head.
It's like a fantasy,
and that's why it's so fucking perfect. Like he sets up the money, he kills everybody, he frees Jesse, like everything just works perfectly. And that is all in his head because he's in a coma induced by his cancer. I kind of like it, but I don't buy it, but it's kind of a cool theory.
I hate that.
I just don't see a movie being led by that guy at all.
Yeah, neither did Hollywood.
Did you see Need for Speed?
No.
I did. It wasn't good.
So talking about good movies with bad endings. Wait, what? That's not a good segue.
Well, that's not what we were talking about at all, man. That segue sucked ass.
You were on fire. I actually was gonna be like,
yeah, you were really killing it earlier.
It was on purpose. It was a joke.
Got it.
I did it as a joke.
It was a joke, man. Joe, your fucking topic. There's a segue.
Yeah. So we're talking about finales, and I want to talk about movies with endings that people either hate it and you loved, or the complete opposite. Right? So for my prime example, made me think of this, made me think of finales, and it's one that I remember being so controversial and not liked was Gone Girl. I remember everyone was like, that was a great movie, but the ending was horrible. Like, why didn't he kill her? This and that. And I always just chalked it up to, that's a whole different movie and story, though.
Yeah, I like the ending of Gone Girl. I think I like the way that one went. I like that leaving the theater with that kind of, oh, shit feeling, like, oh, damn.
I always just chalked it up to is they both basically got what they deserved with that ending.
Yeah.
Like that's his hell, and they're both so fake and want to put it on that he's just willing to sit with it.
So what happened at the end of that movie?
Go watch it.
I like the ending. I like the ending in a sense that it's kind of fucked up how they recreate that shot in the beginning where she's laying in his chest. But her getting to that moment kind of feels forced. Like how does the police even believe she didn't kill Barney from How I Met Your Mother?
I think there's holes there, and my more point with that being is that particular movie, stuff like that is a different movie. Like that's for after the fact to start uncovering. People don't start asking those questions when the person was missing immediately get back. They start asking them a week later. So that was my point. I remember that was the last one. I remember everyone being like, "This ending was fucking terrible." And
I don't know. People tend to just want resolution, and they're uncomfortable with vagueness.
Yeah. Or they want basically the '80s super American clean superhero that no one really wanted anymore, Christopher Reeve. That's why I think Man of Steel's ending was great, and everyone fucking hated him killing Zod.
I liked him killing Zod.
That's what I thought. It was a great ending to that movie.
I think it could have worked in a better movie. You know what I mean? I think the movie just wasn't good enough to know what to do with that kind of ending, or
I was a big
to do
fan
with
of
that
it.
kind of ethos for Superman. Like Zack Snyder's just not capable of doing something with that. I think, the idea of Superman killing, especially being driven to kill when he doesn't want to, and then dealing with the consequences of that, I'm fine with that if we had a director who knew how to convey it.
I think we lose it with because he didn't get a chance to follow up with the sequel. He got stuffed in the Batman thing, which obviously he ruined. But I think for a first movie, I thought a nice little lead up to what could have been.
That movie wasn't a Superman.
He could have dealt with it even within the Batman thing. There was room for it.
Yeah, but it was just
monstrosity. Yeah, there was definitely room.
That's where you get the he couldn't handle the directing capabilities. But like I have Man of Steel. Okay, go for it.
Oh, I think the ending is good. It's just it comes off the heels of like a 55-minute CGI battle, and you're like, sure. I don't care. Can I go now?
It ends twice too. The battle.
I think it's just weird. You have a movie about Superman, and it's just a general audience thing of like massively not understanding. Like, no, this is like how he got to be Superman and why he is Superman.
Yeah.
But it's so goddamn morbid, and I do even though I like Man of Steel, it's the only DC movie I actually kind of enjoy. I get where a lot of its hate came from because you have Superman fucking snapping someone's neck, and they're just like, yeah, I guess I'll do it. Like
I said, maybe in the hands of somebody with a little more finesse.
And he's not Batman. So I know, like the Dark Knight, like in the Dark Knight trilogy, and whatever you want to say about the last one, that set itself up to have that tone, and still had some moments in all three movies where you're like, okay, this is Batman.
What'd you say? Which movie?
So I did a quick Google search because I didn't know what people hated. And
it's different when you're on film Twitter all the time, because there's movies I saw on there. There was a lot that I saw that were like, yeah, that's just a bad movie. Of course it has a bad ending. That whole movie
are
is shit.
some of the ones?
I saw a bunch of those. But then there's ones where I was like, I thought were consensus good movies, but seems like maybe some other people, some normies didn't like it or something. I don't know.
Normies. But I found out that people hate
16 movies with trash endings.
People hate Buried. I don't know if you guys seen that movie, the one where Ryan Reynolds is buried alive.
Oh yeah,
Buried.
And the reason why they hate it is because, a spoiler alert, he dies in the end.
Yeah, that movie was a phenomenal ending.
People are pissed that he wasn't saved, and it's like, yeah, that shit happens all the time. He died. Yeah. It's not a happy.
If you get buried alive, it's really hard to get out.
I'm not even defending the movie. The movie's fine, but I found it so fucking stupid that people hate it because he wasn't saved.
I'm just glad I don't have to watch it now. I know he dies. I'll be good.
I'm sorry. I'm on this. You had me do a Google search now of one of these lists, and I'm on Complex's list. How the hell does the game, David Fincher's The Game, end up on this list?
That's a great movie. That's an excellent ending.
I asked you guys how you feel about the endings of Signs.
That's on this list.
That's on my list. I love the ending of Signs.
Thank you.
I think Signs is a great War of the Worlds tribute. I think it's like a really obvious kind of like throwback to War of the Worlds. Mm-hmm. And the idea that something very simple is what kills the aliens made sense to me from the minute I saw it.
It's better than War of the Worlds. It's better than the War of the Worlds movie.
Oh, the 2005 one? Hell yeah, it is. Signs is a way better adaptation.
Yep. It's funny that Spielberg's I love Steven Spielberg, but Spielberg is the only director who does not get shit for his bad movies.
That's true. Here's one I saw that I thought, this is where I was talking about, where I thought this is like a universally beloved ending amongst people I know, but I saw it on one of these lists, so I had to bring it up. The Mist. The ending of The Mist.
Oh, love
Frank
that.
Darabont, Thomas Jane.
It's a horror movie to watch.
That is an incredible horror movie ending. I mean, a horror movie that truly leaves you breathless walking out. I mean, it can't be understated that like everything you've seen, the monsters and stuff, do not prepare you for the true horror of the movie. Yeah. And that's pretty awesome. That's kind of an amazing, I mean, yeah, it's hard to watch and it's intense and it's very like, it's brutal.
It's hard to watch it.
What a concept. The idea that they truly saved the most horrific thing in the movie till the very last scene.
Another good dark ending is Shutter Island, which I fucking love.
Love Shutter Island.
Where he chooses to
underrated. Crazy underrated Scorsese movie.
Ooh, so I'm still on these lists. And a movie that I don't even know how this made it on here because it was just the worst movie I've ever seen, and I've talked about plenty of times, but the ending of The Devil Inside, where
I thought you were going to say
number one.
Lighthouse.
It's like number one on every list.
because you get a flash that says, go visit this website to learn more about this. And then you go to the website out of curiosity, and it's a dead blink.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah, Shutter Island. It's just a great film, and I'd rather be talking.
Yeah, Shutter Island, amazing movie, unfairly marketed, unfairly kind of maligned as a quote unquote twist movie. It's not a twist movie. It's a movie that has a reveal in it, but that it's much more than just that.
Has anyone, speaking of like horror movies, has anyone seen Splice?
Yeah,
James Gunn.
When I saw Splice on one of these lists, and that is either going to be a bunker or a flyover. That's a movie that we need to revisit.
It has the weirdest ending. It's basically just like what Adam Brody or what's his right?
It's Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody, him and his wife, they make they basically splice genes and make this monster thing, and eventually throughout the movie,
it's kind of a little bit like Species. It's got a little Species.
It's like a female, and then eventually turns itself to a male, and then spoilers, it rapes the woman, and then she becomes pregnant with its offspring, and then she basically sells herself at the end to like this pharmaceutical company to run tests on her. It's like the perfect, weirdest horror movie that makes zero sense. It's all in theaters. It's so good.
I absolutely saw that on one of those lists. I know I have that movie in the bunker. It's definitely on my radar.
I haven't seen it since theaters.
One that I didn't see on any lists, but I wanted to talk about just because I remember people kind of hating on it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's 30 Days of Night. Josh Hartnett vampire
I love
movie.
That movie.
That's good.
I love that movie, and I just remember at the time there were some people who were like, "That's a really cool, scary vampire movie that then ends in a weird fight, like a weird fist fight, which is strange for a vampire movie." But it's based on a comic book, and I just thought it was very appropriate that the ending is him kind of powering up to fight the main vampire. Like that just made sense to me. It's probably one of the last times I remember watching a vampire movie that had legitimately scary vampires in it who were really freaky and fucked you up.
I think that and Blade 2 shared the same ending of the sunset or the sunrise and holding a body. Yeah. So good.
Do you guys remember this one?
Not as good as Blade 2, guys. I won't try to sell it on that.
Fucking awful ending. Savages.
I never saw it.
I saw it on the list. I've seen it in person. I don't remember it at all.
It's not this.
Oliver Stone movie, right?
Yeah, and it's not saying the movie itself is awful. It's this fine crime ride that's a little weird, but I'll ruin it.
I think it's when everyone was teaching everybody. Everyone would tailor kids to work.
Yeah, it's all a dream.
It ends up all being a dream.
Basically,
what?
Your whole last act.
That's wild.
Okay. Another movie that's similar that reminds me of that I saw on this list, Identity, John Cusack movie, Identity.
I love that movie.
I love that movie too. I love it so much that it's the 6th episode of the DVD Bunker.
I was going to say, isn't it the Bunker?
The DVD Bunker, episode 2.
Identity. I love that movie.
That's 2.
That movie is so heady.
It's such a weird. I'll tell you what, though. I love a movie with a really great ensemble cast, and that movie has it in spades. You got John C. McGinley.
No. You know what? Wait. It has a great ensemble cast, but it doesn't have an animal in it. Or it doesn't have one of the most handsomest animals in Hollywood. TJ, what's up with you, man?
Which would be
God damn, that segue was fucking tight, man. It's certainly not like you put it to a screeching halt.
Which would be Return of the Jedis and all the Wookiees. Or what are they called?
Ewoks.
Thank you. Regardless, guys. Let's cleanse our palate and let's talk about the handsomest movie animals of all time. Let's get weird with it. I'm going to start us off. I have 2. Both are mammals, and I'm going with Free Willy, which is a handsome. The way he locks eyes with all the human characters, the way
he can kill you in any moment.
If he wanted to, he could. And I'm pretty sure he might have done that in all the filming at some point. At least one or two people that they haven't told us about. And then my second one would be...
You thought that kid didn't come back for the sequel because he got famous. At the rap party, the kid fell in the tank. Got eaten.
You told me it was the animatronic.
Why didn't he come out to promote the movie at all? Oh, he's in high school now. He had to go overseas.
And along the same lines, I'm going with Elijah Wood and Paul Hogan's buddy, Flipper, from, was it 1996?
Wet mammal.
I was a big fan of
real Troy McClure with what he likes in his
I was a big marine biology kid growing up. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a great poll. I'm sorry. Brian just had the reference of the night.
So those got to be the most handsomest animals, especially from on land and in water. Brian, what do you got?
For a second, I thought this was going to be hard, and then I remembered.
You're hard.
I knew. Then I just let it work like a divining rod, point me toward that handsome animal. But I remembered Bart the Bear, Great Outdoors.
Oh, wow.
Legends of the Fall, a legit celebrity actor bear, and he kicked ass. He could be scary. He could be cuddly.
Was he a Nutty Professor?
Very majestic. Actually, I don't think so. I think that might be Bart the Bear 2. Oh. There is a second Bart the Bear.
Electric Boogaloo.
Bart the Bear 2, Electric Boogaloo.
We're better than that. This podcast is better than that.
No, we're not.
Was that his actual bear butt though in Great Outdoors, or was that?
No, that's a prosthetic butt they put on. It's it looks good though.
He has dignity. He doesn't show.
I like the way it has two humanoid cheeks.
So you have a bear versus an orca. Joe, what do you got?
Ooh, well, I gotta go with my namesake, Mighty Joe Young, Charlize, who had eyes for
one of the few Bill Paxton starring roles we got.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They took a crack at making Bill Paxton a leading man a couple times, and they were decent. Man, Twister's a fucking classic.
Just frail.
But I don't know. It's never stuck. It was like trying to make Gina Davis an action star.
Yeah.
It would not stick.
It has some the Mighty Joe Young, he has moments. It's some good puppetry.
Yeah, great prosthetic. I think that's an ape suit for the most part. Good looking ape suit. Good looking. What do they do? The size, the proportion. The shoot.
She's way bigger. It's almost comic sizing. But I do want to give a shout out to our boy, Airbud, Sir Airbud.
Yeah, always. Cheers.
I think you just stole Jusef's pick. I think he was going to Airbud. What was it? Was that yours, Jusef? Did he take it?
I thought people were going to take Airbud. I thought people were going to take Eddie, but I remember it was movies. And I went with an animal that shaped my childhood, and that is Dunstan from Dunstan.
Oh, wow. Great grab.
So good.
Is Dunstan an orangutan?
Yeah.
Jason Alexander.
Pongo Pig.
Talk about a great actor. That dude could do anything in that hotel, and he always made me laugh, man. And when he dressed up and everything, handsome.
Full disclosure
from the Santa Claus.
Yes, little boy. This was a pick I was considering at some point for a future film because of Paul Rubin and his Pongo Pygmaeus that he says 17 times throughout the movie.
That would have been the best pick you would have had all year.
I'm still going. I got what? We're not there yet, but I got you.
If Dunstan, you win.
Okay, well, I can't do that.
I don't know.
Now.
I mean, come on, Bart the Bear. Do we need The Edge, guys? Have you guys seen The Edge? It's fucking awesome.
Have you ever seen Harry and the Hendersons?
But I think
Kevin Peter Hall or whatever that guy's name is not an animal. He's just a man in a suit.
What if I picked George Animal Steel?
You could have.
Was he in a movie though?
I'm sure he popped up in a movie. Fueled 80s film.
But I know who was in a movie.
Animal from the Muppets.
And is fucking cute as hell. And that is Gizmo from the Gremlins. And nobody picked him, and I thought somebody was going to pick him.
I know he's going to give you that segue that easy.
So three weeks ago, Drunken Haze I made the guys watch Gremlins 2, but I preface it with them saying that they have to watch Gremlins 1 because we cannot talk about Gremlins 2 without talking about maybe a little 10-minute, 15-minute break of Gremlins 1 because they deserve it. But I really wanted to dive in deep into the batshit craziness that is Gremlins 2, the new batch. Before we jump in, I just want to get it out of the way so we can just focus on the craziness of the movies. These two movies are drenched in racism, which is craziness of the
first one.
mystical
The first one
oriental.
more than the second one. It's definitely like kind of in the first one a lot.
Second one really steps on Asian Americans' throats.
Oh yeah, the camera guy. Yeah, that one's bad. Okay. I was just thinking about the Gremlins themselves are more racist than the first one.
And also,
the
Spanish package delivery guy.
Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And also
Raymond Cruz.
The late great Dick Miller just ranting about foreign cars and foreign people and all right. So
you need to be a Trump supporter. That dude loves Trump.
In the second one, he talks about about the conspiracy theories.
He's wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah,
for sure. So how about we talk about Gremlins 1?
Yes.
Everybody knows Gremlins 1. So short description would be Dad gets a mystical creature from the Orient. And
shout out to my Roseanne fans out there. If you watch this movie and you don't see Dan Connor's dad, Ned Beatty, as the dad in Gremlins, like they got the hat, the coat, he's the traveling salesman. That's all I ever think of.
All he does is bring gifts.
No, he's the traveling inventor. Okay, traveling inventor.
VCR.
So he gets a mystical creature. It comes with 3 for Christmas because this is set in Christmas, a great Christmas movie. He's called Gizmo. He comes along with 3 rules. Don't feed him after midnight. Don't get him wet. And the third one, don't expose him to light. Is it? I don't remember. No. Of course, all 3 rules are broken. And out of Gizmo, the Gremlins are born. They're evil creatures led by the evil Stripe. And just crazy shit happens. That's pretty much like the quick summary, so we can just talk about the movie. What do you guys think about Gremlins 1?
I like that. You know what? I'm gonna let these guys talk about the movie first before I get into behind the scenes stuff that I like about Gremlins 1.
Corey Feldman's in the movie. It's one of his first appearances in a film, man. It's so good.
Steven Spielberg, this is right in that hot spot where he was doing this and he's doing Goonies and Friday the 13th Part 4.
Yep.
He was just blowing up. Like the kid was on fire.
That's what I was going to say. I like that. I almost like the stories of Gremlins, how it's the same poltergeist, basically, rumor. That
where Spielberg really directed it.
Yeah. And,
you could feel that.
Yeah. It's
weird question.
It definitely has those horror. It still has those horror elements from the original script.
It's got great horror elements. I noticed how much better the cocoons look in the first one when they turn into Gremlins. Although one thing I wanted to talk about when we get to Gremlins 2 a little bit was just how much I love how they upgraded the design elements of some of the main Gremlins and how they gave them more personality. In the first one, they're all pretty bland except for Stripe. I mean, they all look about the same, But
talking about the design,
the next level.
But talking about the design, Gizmo is fucking adorable in this movie.
Yeah,
his eyes movement and his face.
One of the cutest. I mean, way cuter than E.T. or Alf or any of those other kind of 80s and 90s.
You instantly connect with him and you feel bad that the Gremlins are just fucking him up.
But why hasn't
they pick up even when he's their dad, they instantly come out and start fucking him up. Like they instantly, even his babies are treating him like total shit.
As you guys know, that's not how it works. There's an alpha. And then there's the other guys. Okay,
Gizmo ends up in the toilet barfing.
So there's no such thing as alphas. We learned that. And science proves it.
I don't know. We found 3 alphas in Pittsburgh. So what I always laugh.
Start with the T.
I've always laughed at Dad's inventions always failing, but imagine trying to live in that fucking household where you can't even crack an egg without having to use a shitty invention.
Although One of my favorite background jokes is when he makes the call from the convention and the
And
time
the time machine.
machine from H.G. Wells' time machine is back there,
Here's the
and then
thing.
it's gone. I love that shit. I probably watched this movie a dozen times as a kid and never picked up on
Oh,
that.
no, yeah.
But I think the 60s Time Machine is a great classic sci-fi movie if you guys want to watch something old and weird with great stop motion.
And the
I
remake.
check that
I'm
out.
pretty sure this movie, when it came out, because the Phoebe Cates thing was supposed to be a lot darker than it should, I think the dad was an alcoholic salesman who also hit his family. So that's why they felt like they had to use all his inventions. So it was a lot darker than we assume. You know what I mean?
Like he would beat them if they didn't use
Oh,
his,
yeah.
he'd
You're
get
not using the
frustrated.
orange thing?
You know, I disagree that Phoebe
And you'd
Cates.
be like afraid to tell him it didn't work. Like, no, it's great, Dad. It's awesome.
The cigarette butts.
Fuck TJ. That's why he's so apologetic when he touches the button and the oozes out on him. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Dad. Please
You
come
think-
back.
Your
you think
dad's
he just
okay right
puts their
then?
fucking faces in.
But I disagree that the Phoebe Cates thing comes out of nowhere because throughout the entire fucking movie, she's throwing dark shit, especially
Yeah.
like, oh, the holidays, people are opening up their wrists, and it's the highest rate of suicide.
Not to mention, this all comes after the mom goes to war with those gremlins. She's a fucking action hero.
Oh,
like,
yeah, it's
unsung
so
action
good.
hero. This kid's mom goes to war with 5 or 6 gremlins. They murder the mean old lady from
Yeah,
the bank.
she's
Kind
American,
of
too.
old allegory.
Lady-
So like
the
we're
lady
well into the dark zone before
The
the
lady
story
that's,
comes.
the lady that's fucking openly saying in a bank that I want to murder your dog.
Yeah.
Like, she's
Because
just freely
she's the
saying,
Gulch. She's the Wicked Witch.
I'm
She's,
pretty
you know what I
sure
mean?
she's the only person in the Gremlins franchise, we could talk about this with the next movie, that deserved probably everything that came to them.
Oh yeah,
It's true.
Yeah,
she deserved
easily.
it.
Okay.
well, the security guy deserved to get fucked by a gremlin, but that's we can save that.
See, I have a counter argument to that. I'll save that though.
Okay.
That's Gremlins 2.
Trans icon, the female.
Does this movie fall into one of your favorite Christmas movies?
Yes.
Yeah,
Should I
sure.
like to watch Gremlins at Christmas? I don't know if it would be like it's not going to make my top 5 Christmas
No.
movies.
I'll say, where did this land on our list? Was it on our list?
Yeah, it was in the
Yeah.
brackets. I think it went up against
It's an
something.
oddball.
Yeah.
Awful.
Check
It
that
went
out,
against
guys.
something for sure.
Yeah, hey, content, baby. But overall though, yeah, I mean, Gremlins is a classic, deservedly so. I don't think anybody would argue that like it's one of those like '80s Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, the kind of like high concept sci-fi, movies that we got that kind of opened up that genre.
I agree. Do you want to say anything else about the first one before we move into the one that has a lot of meat to bite into?
Well, I mean, it's so good that Joe Dante didn't want to risk coming back to do another one.
Yeah.
And they
They just
basically
said,
had
"Here's
to just
the movie."
say they would let him do whatever he wanted, and so he was like, "I'm gonna make a movie so crazy you'll be afraid to fucking put it out."
Yeah. It's so.
It was
Fucking-
almost like he was playing chicken with the fucking studio. It's like, I'm gonna make you a fucking sequel.
Okay. We could do
Joe
that.
Dante doing that over like a Sam Raimi being like, well, let me just fuck up Spider-Man 3 because you don't want me to make what I want to make.
Yeah.
Like, at least Joe Dante was just like, I'm going to make it consistently fuked up.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fair.
it really kicks up.
It's so
after a certain
weird.
point. But
It's amazing.
let's set it up real quick. This is probably 5 years after the
I got the.
one.
Can I read the DVD back description?
Sure, go ahead.
I haven't read it.
Oh, you haven't read it? You don't know if it's good content?
No. The rules. All
Edit
right.
this out.
Yep.
Man, well, that's it. Hello. The rules are the same, but the laughs are bigger and the thrills are better. This time, Billy and everyone's favorite Mogwai, Gizmo, must face off against a new batch of gremlins that definitely think New York is their kind of town. Hysterical, hipper, and funnier than the first. Pat Collins, WWR TV.
Oh, look at
/New
this
York.
guy's free shout outs.
I was gonna say, is Scott Mance on there? Scott Mance get a review on that one?
great.
It's pumped.
I just love it. It's phenomenal. Citizen Kane of sequels.
Fucking talking in caps lock.
blow me. All right.
So so it's kind of like 5 years after they moved to New York for some fucking reason, and my wife hates this so much. My wife hates this so much. Gizmo was returned to the fucking store where he got them from. He abandoned his
Wait a minute. Why does your wife hate that the Gizmo got? They were irresponsible with Gizmo.
You don't return the fucking pet, man. This is your pet. You
they didn't return. No, they didn't return it. The guy comes and
gets him back.
Takes him away. The old guy at the end of Gremlins takes Gizmo away because they're irresponsible. I agree. I think
the little kid just abandons him too.
I think that's why he took back.
He didn't have a choice.
Yeah, fine.
Or he becomes.
Call my wife and tell her that.
Well, and tell her to watch the show.
Yeah, no, I don't think she will. So they try to buy the big company that the kid works for is trying to buy the store. He's holding out.
Where did the old man's grandson go? You know,
he was bought out by the company.
No, he became the cameraman.
Who actually sells it to the dad?
Whoa,
he's gone, and Gremlins abandoned his old grandpa to die alone in that store.
TJ said no more racism.
I wasn't racist.
Oh, the only other Asian must be the fucking kid.
I'm connecting threads here.
Full circle.
Are you talking about the cameraman? Is that grown up?
Yeah.
Kid Watanabe from 16 Candles is the kid from Gremlins.
I don't. Yep. But
Gizmo ends up in the building, which I know that they say that you should diversify your business, but this fucking building has everything, including a TV station and a laboratory.
Love it.
And that's where Gizmo ends up.
Where they're doing like mad illegal shit.
Yeah. Gizmo ends up in that laboratory. He gets wet. Yeah. I wanted to. Now that you mentioned that, how about we just mention all the random people that are in this movie?
The twins from Terminator 2.
Twins from Terminator 2.
The executive, the Donald Trump allegory, which, by the way, we all know that Clamp is Trump, right?
Yeah.
He even has a book at the beginning. You see his book. It looks just like The Art of the Deal.
It's supposed to be, but somehow he ends up to be the hero at the end of it.
Wow,
so
I actually never noticed that, and I like that.
But that guy also is the TV executive from Scrooged, who's trying to take Bill Murray's job.
You have Grandpa from the Munsters being,
but that's not the actual Grandpa. It's the actor.
He's from Mrs. Doubtfire. He's Robert Prowski.
Yeah. Oh, he did end up having his own.
And I think he's in Last Action Hero too. Maybe.
Yep, he's the theater owner.
Yep.
Jeed Watanabe, which is from 16 Candles, that TJ racistly connected. Leonard Maltin has his meta moment, and Hulk fucks it up, but Hulk Hogan is also in this
movie. Hulk Hogan, racist ass Hulk Hogan shows up.
And we already mentioned Tuco from Breaking Bad, and Julia Sweeney, which is Pat from SNL.
And that's the woman who's always sneezing.
And this guy from The Burbs. He has like.
He's
he's in every Joe Dante movie.
Exactly, and he's the dad. He's Anna Faris's dad in Scary Movie too.
Yes, he's amazing. I love him.
Oh wow, yeah. Jeez.
Wait, he was Anna Faris's dad in Scary Movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're thinking of the guy from Gremlins, the guy from the first one.
Yes, I was thinking of the guy.
You're talking about Tom Hanks' best friend.
No, I'm talking about all the random people that show
up. Now this will tickle TJ's fancy. Yeah. He's also in Blank Check.
Nice.
He's the limo driver in Blank Check. Absolutely.
TJ is tickled.
A movie that even as a kid, I was like, you couldn't do all this shit with $1 million.
Definitely at half staff.
I love Blank Check, but
Gizmo
gets the Blank Check cast. We're just going to call out Preston and his $1 million.
Why are we talking Blank Check? Gizmo gets wet.
Why? The question is, why aren't we talking Blank Check?
And a bunch of fucking gremlins get loose on the building. And it's up to
cool designs. We got our three Stooges gremlins. We got our new our upgrade of Spike, who's got like
is
a crazy.
Is that what that's supposed to be?
Yeah, the one looks like Mo. I mean, they're not 100% an analog for them, but definitely that's the vibe I always got. You got the one that's kind of the mean grouse leader, the one that's kind of crazy, and then the dumb one.
Genius.
They're very
so genius.
But the actual faces, the one guy looks kind of like Edward G. Robinson. You know, he's got the big lips,
Yeah.
his face, the down face, and great designs though.
Fucking jump into the movie. What do you guys think about that cold open of the Looney Tunes? I've always found it so fucking weird.
The
It's
WB
so
thing.
weird. I think it's probably just
It's
whatever
not
they were trying
nearly
to.
as good as the one on Batman where they're just selling you products.
It's probably just what they were just. I think they were just trying to pump that out at the time. It's so fucking weird. It has.
That was during that Looney Tunes renaissance that was kind of going on in the early 90s, though. It was weird that why, I don't know what it was. I think it's because our parents, the people like our parents' age and around that generation who grew up on Looney Tunes were now in power and they like brought Looney Tunes back. You know, just like people who were young, who were like grew up in the 80s are now bringing shit like Stranger Things back. They're just like, we want to redo what made us feel good as kids. So that I think we're just bringing back the Looney Tunes. They were all over the place.
Yeah, did this and Honey the Shrunk
my shirts with crisscross clothes, doing a hip hop dance. Yeah.
Did this and I Shrunk the Kids come out at the same time?
This is 90. I don't know.
This would have been
Honey
before
Shrunk the Kids was 90, I think.
No, Honey Shrunk the Kids is like 89, I think.
No,
it was like
90.
87.
I thought it was 90, but either way, they have like the intro, obviously, with Roger Rabbit and stuff like that. So like, wonder if they tried to copy off that.
89.
89.
Yeah, I told you, I'm always right.
All right, Jesus, I'm not a fucking.
I love that Gizmo knows and is a huge fan of Rambo. Like as soon as the TV turns on, he's
that's
like,
an established character trait of his from the first movie that he loves TV. The guy's like, "Oh, you let him watch TV." I didn't like it.
Was that Ken Watanabe?
No.
That was the guy who sold Homer the Krusty the Clown doll.
It was Orlando Jones.
To get your choice of topping.
It was that same guy.
I feel so at home among these racist people. So I always found weird and funny. Like it clearly is the Joe Dante saying, "Fuck it, just do whatever you want." How the redhead talks. She talks in like the 50s accent.
Oh,
she's got like this crazy Brooklyn accent or something.
And he's like, "Yeah, go ham. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I don't give, just do it." And I've always like laughed so hard about the bit. It's a throwaway bit, kind of like the Time Machine, where he's walking in the lobby and you can hear the PA system saying, "Casablanca, now in color with a happier ending."
Yeah, I like that too.
I love the part where the guy comes in and do like the cubicle inspections and takes the plant and like throws it away, but then she lights a cigarette right after it and starts smoking in front of everyone. He's like, "This could bring in germs. This could bring in a whole bunch of things." It's like smoking 90s, 80s, it all works. They're good. Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite parts as a kid, obviously, was all the different, like, when they start to get the powers and they get all the different varieties of crazy gremlins. I love the bit where the gremlin flies outside and becomes a gargoyle. That's
the Batman symbol.
That's so good. Yeah. He flies through the wall and leaves the Batman symbol.
One of my favorite moments or things about this movie as a kid was just going in through all the different like TV stations.
Oh, yeah.
And it accentuated all the gremlin. Like, they were just hiding and waiting for the perfect time for, like, every show to pop out.
The cooking station with all the Chardonnay. And then you got the obviously the horror guy.
You have Leonard Mullen.
Yeah.
Who this is
the weirdest one to me is the one that just grows vegetables out of his body. That was always like somehow that weirded me out more than the spider one. Like the spider one,
actually, we should do that.
Which one? Scare of the movie, but the one that's got like vegetables popping out of him always freaked me out.
I'll say which is everyone's favorite gremlin? That's not Gizmo.
From Gremlins 2?
Yeah, from Gremlins 2.
Yeah, going from Gremlins 2.
All right.
I really like the one that talks just for the bit where he just shoots the other one in live TV. Like the one comes next to him and he just pulls out a gun
and he had on
and just shoots him.
I
just love that bit so much. He's like, "We want society, we want civilization." Pow!
Yeah.
And he just keeps talking. It's hilarious.
I got to go back to the Batwing though when it finally attacks Dick Miller.
Yeah,
and then it lands in the cement. He throws the cement, and it goes up, and then does the whole like gargoyle pose in the sun, and just like freezes up. It's so perfect. Just like, also, boom, little thing. These gremlins can't go into light, correct? in the whole beginning, I'm gonna go way back. Gizmo just goes out into daylight and just like runs around outside when he gets found
What?
in sunlight.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's like in an alley or something. He's kind of like scurrying around in an alley. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think he can.
I'll give that one a pass. I like that they, gave the bat one a
awful now.
potion so that he could go out in the sun. They made sure to hit that.
Oh yeah, that was the bat, right?
It had a picture of a sun with a circle around it and a line through it. So
Well,
I think
that was
yeah, it was the bat one.
A symbol of what it is. Like when the one that became a woman, it was literally just a female sign. It was like, what the fuck are you doing with that potion? What was the
No, wait a minute. Like I said, now that character, I'm not trying to step on any toes because we try to be as woke as possible on this show for a bunch of white dudes.
Yeah,
and
PJ killed it.
But still, we're all cis hetero men, so nobody's on the cutting edge. But does the Gremlins 2 Lady Gremlin? She's trans, right? She takes hormones to change her body and she's
a woman
gremlin. The gremlins come out primarily male and she seems comfortable with her choice and everything. So I mean, so she's is that
she a trans icon is what you're saying?
Trans portrayal, is that non-offensive? I don't know.
I can tell you this, and I swear to
God,
God,
she's my favorite because she wins in the end. She gets her man and she gets to exist. They should do a third movie where she is like the queen of a whole new society of gremlin.
Hybrids of human gremlin hybrids.
I don't know what this.
I guess so. Yeah,
I'll say I don't know what this says about me. Growing up, I had one of my first boy moments to her. So I'm not. I think that I'm
like big lips.
Yeah, people like Lola Bunny.
Her up pretty good. She's got curves. She's got that cleavage dress on.
Body.
They gave her booty.
People like Lola Bunny.
I like female Gremlin. Just gave the big woke speech. You're making embarrassing.
I'm so sorry.
You're embarrassing in front of the Puerto Rican.
You guys. I know you guys have, and if you're listening, do yourself a favor and watch the Key and Peele Gremlins 2 sketch.
Yeah,
it actually nails the movie and how bizarre it is, because it's I just go look it up and watch it. It's like 4 minutes. It's hysterical.
I was gonna say, is there anything we need to talk about any more of the plot? Did we lay out enough of what people understand? It's just like Gizmo ends up in the same building where Billy's now working. Gremlins break out. There's a bunch of them. They got to stop them. It's pretty much the same as the first movie.
That's why
it's bigger and weirder and more, like I said, they do all these crazy creature powers.
Yeah.
This one that's basically the Electro. He's like a living electricity.
That one's so interesting to me because they especially let that joke go on for so long when he's catches him in the phone.
Yeah.
Like it's like they were just like so in love with the animation.
Put it
they
on
did
speaker. That's not how that works.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the reason why I love more the first one than this one, even though this one is just batshit crazy.
This one's a lot of fun. Yeah, this one's just a big.
But it doesn't have any at all plot. I think the big plot is knowing. I think you get more value out of your experience knowing that this is Joe Dante saying "fuck you" to the studio. And
I also think and
just liking the meta commentary on the sequels and how crazy it is, and just adding that more is more mentality of Hollywood.
I like to even have that scene where the characters, where like Billy's telling the guys at the office
the rules,
and they're all like doing the same thing nerds have been doing for years, and like nitpicking the rules and like talking about time zones. And, like, well, what if he eats something at 11, but it's stuck in his teeth and it doesn't go down until after 12, and just all the dumb shit.
Well,
I like that they hang a little lantern on that. I do have to say, one of my all-time favorite moments now that I just kind of noticed this last time watching it is that, like, as they're having their kind of heartfelt moment at the end after the big climax, they have stopped all the gremlins except the lady gremlin who gets away to start a family. They But I've just noticed, like, they're having their heartfelt moment and talking with the boss who's, like, learned to be a better man. But, like, how casually the dudes in hazmat suits are just, like, shoveling gremlin carcasses into barrels. They're just, like, shoveling up. I just had never noticed before, and I just laughed so much watching it this time. And they're just having their heartfelt moment. And it's just some grim-ass shit going on in the background.
Every single character has, like, that good resolution. You have Clamp and the redhead, like, kind of have their moment where you know they're going to end up together. You have Phoebe Cates and Zach Galligan, that guy. You have Dick.
And his drawing gets recognized, like the one that he wanted to do of his. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You get which got reprimanded for having up earlier in the movie.
Yeah. You get the vampire and the young kid from the first Gremlins who's grown up now as a cameraman to get their own show. You also get the guy who gets the female gremlin. At one point, it's like, no, and then he goes,
oh, he was down.
All right. I like that ending of, like, it reminded me of the Some Like It Hot ending where he's just like, let's get it. Let's give it a shot. Like,
sure.
Oh,
I'm gonna put a baby.
The clamp character probably has the best kill when he puts the gremlin in the shredder.
In the shredder, yes,
that's fucking great.
He just like gets up and like adjusts it. He's like,
Yeah.
It's on his face and and he has the American flag like at the end of the TV night when like you wake up at like 1 a.m. back in the day and just have the American flag and like the anthem going.
Well, like the Gremlins video. I love that when the TV goes to that and the Gremlins on the picture too. It's like, how the hell did they manage that shit?
That's a real video they have.
Kind of dumb stuff I love in this movie. That's just like they're just like, fuck it. You want it bigger. You want more because Joe Dante's right. Gremlins the type of movie that never needed a sequel.
Now, Joe,
just the way it is.
Because I think in Poltergeist they have that video of the the flag flying before it goes to the. Yeah, okay.
They do.
Yeah, nailed it.
I mean,
because they fall asleep on the TV, and like you said, point out that was a very older thing that networks used to do. Is when they would go there, you'd have the
kids today don't understand that TV used to end. Like at a certain point at night, there just wasn't TV anymore, and then TV didn't come back until the morning. Now there's TV all the time. And
that video, that gag of like the world ending with the flag, the news stations actually have that. Like CNN, they've admitted that like they have a doomsday tape to play off if the world
it'll be ridiculous now that nobody watches TV though.
Yeah.
Well, you would just check Twitter in your last moment.
It'll be a podcast.
Yeah.
It'll be Game of Thrones recap
me
show.
Standing in a corner just bye guys.
I would imagine in the apocalypse you would use the last bit of your phone power to listen to podcasts, because you don't have to have the screen turned on so it would last longer.
I'm confident I'm going to listen to a Game of Thrones recap show.
Somebody will use his last moment in life to just call
or a trailer reaction.
Call somebody a cunt on Twitter. That's going to be their last moment.
And
here's all the things I want to say to you people. Have my
own guy writing a Twitter thread. Just
also, someone remind me, what is the bracelet that Gizmo's wearing? Is that because of the guy passed?
I think it's something from his store.
I think it's like because they like checked him into the lab. I think it's a thing that like it's probably like an ID for the lab because he's a lab animal,
Oh, can we talk about Gizmo dancing?
Yes.
I love Gizmo dancing. I love that they like that's the one thing like they went crazy, but they didn't go cheap. So everything looks great. The Gremlins all look amazing. Great. Gizmo looks great, like his movements. They made him cuter. He's a little less ugly,
Yeah, he looked like an old man the first one.
Yeah, Rick Baker went to town.
Yeah, they made him fucking adorable in this one. I love that the clamp guy references the thing with the sucker, the suction cup hands at the end. That Gizmo and Garfield were the two that I always saw growing up.
Always, yeah.
Well, yeah, for me because of, seeing it more as it's a Furby.
Pretty much.
Furby literally took that design of Gizmo.
Literally, without hands.
So how about we go into the ratings phase?
This very well could be one of the highest.
Brian, what did you give Gremlins 2, the new batch?
I give Gremlins 2 like a solid 7. It's like a good, like solid, fun comedy. You know, it's not a great movie, but it's got great special effects. It's got great, you know, they knew where to put the money. They knew what they were making, and I appreciate the fuck it of it all. You know.
What about you, Joe?
I think I'm giving it a lot of points for being a popular blockbuster rental for myself, and I'm gonna go this a 7.6. I find it a lot of fun. It's very time efficient, and it's
They're both super tight. Like I watched them both last night. You know, you can watch them back to back, no sweat.
So, 3 hours easy.
What about you, TJ?
For me, this goes up there with like Return of the Jedi. I saw this before the original Gremlins, so I distinctively rank it higher just because it falls deeper in my heart. And you guys know how
it hits that nostalgia button.
Yeah, you know how my heart works. So Gremlins 2 for me is probably a clean 8.1.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up there.
TJ has an endless barrel of nostalgia buried in his heart.
What about you?
I give it a 7 CB Cates out of 10.
Ooh.
It's fun. And like I said, it adds a lot to your enjoyment knowing that this is an authors like Joe Dante saying "fuck you" to Hollywood for forcing me to do a sequel.
Also, go watch more Joe Dante movies. Go watch The Bird. That movie's
it's fantastic.
Watch The Birds. Listen to my DVD Bunker episode with a tribute to Carrie Fisher.
Right.
And watch my review. Read it at whyilovemovies.com. I wrote about The Birds too.
I'll be talking about Small Soldiers.
So next episode, it's TJ's endless barrel of nostalgia.
Opening up your wrists. I'm going to do a Phoebe Cates.
All right, so I decided to tell these guys that I was going to try and take it easy on them and not do any more 80s, 90s nostalgia for myself.
And you lied.
No, I did not lie. So I went with 2000s nostalgia for myself. I'm going to go with I was thinking of a movie with a good like cast, wide-ranged. So I went with a movie that stars Samuel L. Jackson.
The longer he builds up, the scarier it gets.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. I know where we're going.
No, you don't. Michelle Rodriguez, Colin Farrell. I want to watch SWAT. I don't know why, but I want to watch SWAT.
It's so boring.
I'm so excited for a second.
I haven't seen SWAT in a long time, and I know everyone wanted it to be Deep Blue Sea, but
isn't Jeremy Renner the bad guy in SWAT?
I want to talk about it. We can talk about it in 2 weeks, guys.
Why don't we just talk about it now?
Why don't we watch Michael Bay's Miami Vice?
We're going right into SWAT. I can't wait for this. It's going to be so good.
You.
Guys, you can find me at TJ Dex. You're on Flyover.
All right, guys, remember when I made you watch Lucky Number 11? That was fun.
It's literally almost up in that level.
Yeah, it was great content.
Well,
talking
it was
about a
SWAT or Knockaround, guys.
Yeah, what, Four Brothers wasn't available? You gotta
Hey, don't you say anything bad about Four Brothers.
Oh, God. All right, Brian, where can the people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter, just running my yapper at Hercules. You can listen to old episodes of DVD Bunker where you find podcasts, and you can find me here at Flyover State of Film, missing these crazy bastards. You know, thinking we should move in together like the Golden Girls and shit.
Be good.
I'll literally be the Dave Coulier to all your guys.
I call Top Bunk. Joe, where can the people find you?
I guess you can find me catching old episodes of the DVD Bunker.
Joe is my number one listener. He downloads and live tweets every single episode.
You can find me on Twitter tweeting. Just being overall.
Giving me notes after the fact. I'm like, the fucking shit is recorded, man. He's like, you should do the levels. You should do
it. Like,
I
just love what you said about King Ralph.
What about you, TJ?
Oh, yeah, guys. You can find me at TJ Dex on Twitter. You're on Flyover State of Film YouTube. Hit me up about SWAT. And then enjoy, guys. You know, I have a very vast, wide range of movies that are A+. So
And
101. I got
it. You can always find me at Why I Love Movies on Twitter and whyIlovemovies.com. Writing reviews that nobody reads except Ryan. Peace out.
Bye.